strike by the Ghana Union of Traders Association in full force with a ripple effect on other businesses. We'll gauge the effect of this action as the producer price index hits 45.5%.
So we're having a union, a taxing union over here. So I'm the one who take a ticket to them. Today, no one is coming to board a car to their various destinations.
Meanwhile, GUTA is fighting off claims of harassment of some traders who are sitting out of the strike.
We do not go chasing. You've been here and you've seen it yourself. The closure is total.
We have details as the IGP deploys scores of police officers to forestall any clash. And Top Story is brought to you by Vodafone. Further together, I am Ernest Manu. They vowed to shut down, and they've done just that. The busy, vibrant Accra Business District was today a pale shadow of itself. Scores of shops closed in compliance with a resolution passed by the Ghana Union of Traders Association. The group described the industrial action, which will end Monday, October 24, as a pinch on government to urgently address the depreciating cedi, the high interest rate, as well as inflation. The association has, among other things, called on government to ascertain the factors leading to excessive demand of the dollar while reviewing investment laws to retain forex and push foreign investors into productive sectors of the economy. We'll be telling you how hard this action has been biting so far, but the issue being raised by the traders today has further been reinforced by the latest report of the Ghana Statistical Service. Isaac Ofieje is a data analyst with our research text, and he joins me in the studio with the figures from the Ghana Statistical Service. Isaac, what is the rate for September?
Right, so and as the current rate for producer inflation is pegged at 45.6%. And back then in August this year, the producer inflation was at 39.7%. So if you look at on month basis, and as electricity and water had the highest month-on-month producer inflation of 14.2% and 9.2% respectively.
What does this mean for businesses, for trading, and for the general public?
So obviously, we've seen pressure on the Ghanaian cedi, and producer price index certainly means the price you get, the wholesale price. So it means that if you compare year on year basis, wholesale prices have actually gone up by more than 45%. So it means retailers are now going to get the goods at higher cost, and this is actually reflected in the 37.
It will have a cascading effect on the entire
37.9% of consumer inflation that we see currently.
Kofi, thank you very much for bringing us that latest report from the Ghana Statistical Service. Well, today, my colleague Bernice Abubedu was in town to gauge the level of compliance, and as she reports, the action was in full force with a ripple effect on other businesses. Listen.
So we're having a union, a taxing union over here. So I'm the one who take a ticket to them.
On a day that the shops were not closed.
Oh, yeah.
What is this place?
It's busy road. Busy. Many people have been coming to buy electricals, fridges, so that they'll bring it here and we'll park, stop a car for them to have outlet their goods to their various destinations.
So this is also affecting you as commercial transport owners?
Yes, it's affecting, yes. Because here is a union, they park. If shops has been open, people will come and purchase or buy their goods. So today, no one is coming to board a car to their various destinations.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And that this is having a ripple effect, not only on the traders or those who come to buy from the wholesalers, but also on those who offer services like transportation, those who provide food and water. They definitely will be affected. Headquarters as well will also be affected. All right, so this lady here wants to talk to me. Me pacha ya frau saying.
Friend me Lucy.
Lucy pacha oya den wa ha.
Ya ton ade wa ha, shedwa wa ha.
Okay. Inti mo na mo shedwa wa nim ha. Enya mo nya shop owners.
Ya shop owners. Na me kombia nka. Ya ton ade kakra we kan sini ba. Na ya ton ade na me kombia ye ne nti ye hwe. So baby na
na wa adenti na Malcolm emnie unim ne ntia
na na akufo ade wa ye boni papa ye nim say sa na etie mi hye kambu ni ji sami ko work okacha ye say Ghana ye wo sky ye wo tiba ye wo koko na ye nim so ba bibia ne bo be ye di sesi akoto mo repotency di uri un ba tu ensuye
So Lucy is exclaiming she is shocked that this is what they have to suffer as traders, because she claims that during the campaign time she wore her canvas shoes and her jeans and she was supporting President Akufo-Addo. And she says the president said we had a lot of money, we had cocoa, timber, gold, and she didn't expect that things will happen this way. She also says that if the shops were opened, she would also sell her wares, because those entering the big shops will, pay attention to those who are selling on tabletops here. But I say, a global. A course will be Russia and Ukraine and Tokwano and affecting Intino. I say, or putting measures in place to ensure Senyama Bekoye and also Dream Hussein.
Senior can say Russia, Bibia, San, Etia, Ghana, the on-ship May. If you say Ghana, Yadi and Nisa, Amudio Musikanusu, Ghana, Yasikanusa, and the on-ship May, and Nabibia, Buffalo May, affectuana.
Oh, okay, I think I'm up here. Soon, Ukrainian and the evidence now run. It is saying that they be a ban.
Now, what is some to shops?
I say, no, I'm a TV visa.
And our customers here and Crawford Bensa.
Oh, my customers, dear Crawford, try me or mutas, China, now what, or maybe or more, mini or more, and so, or be mutobi.
So this lady is telling me that business is slow this morning. She sells rice. She heard of the closure, but I mean, she usually sells to people who come here to do business, to buy from the shops, and the shop owners themselves. But this morning, she's saying truthfully, things aren't going as they usually will on a typical day like this. So just to my left, I mean, you can see an area of shops closed.
That's my colleague Bernice Abubedu there, reporting live from the Central Business District of Accra today. Many shops are closed in compliance with the resolution by GUTA, and that is having a cascading effect on other businesses. Many people are suffering as a result of this action by GUTA. My colleague Papani Ashale just returned from Tiptoe Lane and also observed the situation there. Papani, what can you share with us?
So, Ernest, we've been to Tiptoe Lane, we've been to Odona Station, and we've been to Oprah Square, in this where you have the GUTA executives themselves working.
Yeah.
And the situation is they have closed every single shop. At least you find most of the shops. At best, you'd find people standing in front of these closed shops, probably, running away from the scorching sun. But all these shops are under lock and key, and there's no activity going on. I managed to get the fringe workers, those that help with this particular, some or benefit from the activities, of these shops. You get truck pushers, you get hawkers, and you get what you call kayaye as well.
Porters, the head porters.
Head porters as well, who were helping or benefiting from the businesses of these individuals. They tell me that it's been slower than they are taught, that they know that we are in economic crisis. Many people are not coming to the market, but what they experience today is unlike anything they've experienced before. So most of them are just idle, have just left their pants around and are just roaming free some of these markets and hoping that this strike will come to an end as soon as possible.
Michael, thank you very much for the update today. And earlier, there were reports of harassment of some traders who sat out of the strike. Some of them say they are not members of GUTA and actually do not believe that the strike is the way to go.
I'm saying we can still demonstrate by wearing our red shirts, put a red band on your store,
Okay.
and open your store and demonstrate.
Okay.
There are so many ways of demonstration. It is not only shutting the stores is the only way.
Okay.
So that we will continue to engage with the government so that the remaining money that we have will not go down, will not be destroyed. That's all I'm talking. That is my message. So long as the dollar is destroying our business, the government is finding a solution.
We say almost say a copy Monday. For the 5 days, I know what they mind. That's a problem. They say I say market. Oh, okay.
So those are some traders who disagree with the action that is already underway. But GUTA says those claims of harassment is actually false, and the strike on day one has been very successful. Listen to Dr. Joseph Obin interact with my colleague Michael Ashale when the IGP visited the executives of GUTA earlier today.
GUTA is a huge institution. GUTA. Our business. GUTA. Our business. So, we are not in competition with anybody. Some people want to ride at the back of GUTA to make themselves relevant. And so, we do not go chasing. You've been here and you've seen it yourself. The closure is total. And let me tell you, even Christmas. Christmas where we are supposed to eat biscuits, kill chickens and eat and all that, people will even come and open shops. Even holidays, that is cleared by government. So in any situation, you see some remnants.
So, Dr. Ben, what is the IGP asking you to do? I mean, why is he here particularly? What demands did he make on you?
IGP came to praise us because he said that he's even surprised that such a massive closure, there's no iota of incidents anywhere. And that we prove that we are matured and you want us to sustain that. And that we don't have any conflict with anybody. Let not anybody deceive anybody that some people are preventing them to open their shops. They don't have members to go and open anything.
So the IGP did not ask you to consider other factors and open your shops?
No, he said that he came here for security purposes and he didn't talk on those lines.
Okay. So based on the security reasons that he gave you, he didn't advise you to probably consider opening your shops?
He said that I have told him that I do not have that mandate. And that the mandate is on the people who have closed their shops.
So your strike is still in force?
Our people say they are closing their shops and they want to open on Monday. If they decide to open on Saturday, so be them. They will tell us and they will do that. But for now, they say they want to open on Monday. So anytime they tell us, we will take their instruction and to do that.
So that is Dr. Joseph Obin, the national president of GUTA, interacting there with my colleague Michael Papani Ashale. But Papani is still with me in the studio. Where else was the IGP today?
So when he left Oprah Square, I understand that he visited other markets, but later we understood he appeared at Circle Tiptoe Lane, where he walked through Tiptoe Lane. For those who know Circle proper, right from Fanofa traffic light all the way down there. He spoke to some of the shops that were there, down into Tiptoe Lane proper, and then went to the Odona station to talk to some of the traders that were there. I understand this, like Joseph Obeng told us, that it's on security reasons, something they have heard along the lines of threats to other members.
Bambo esi ebonya frisamria kwesi emra mwa muni aban kasane ukoni abayina mu beyi se mba be bibie mu shop no nyina ye beye na enusu echi no krampo no mo ba ye be koso ma bambo no aye den ewo Ghana fa na nyina enti yenso ye makwan se ye ni nipa ena wose ebia omie no shop na se obia why na gizo omie no bia ehye so omie na ba ye nimu a ye do nya kon be fa mra kwanso eno na be ma a kire se Ghana ye ni bue no ekosoro da bia.
So that's the IGP. Michael, a quick translation there.
Yeah, so he's been admonishing members of GUTA to avoid trying to force or coerce other individuals who have decided not to go their lane, to allow them to be. And anyone found forcing or using force to get these people to close their shops, the law is going to be dealing with them.
And very soon we'll be speaking to the president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, for some more on today's action. But yesterday, when we spoke to the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Michael Ochirbefi, he indicated that some of the things that had been agreed on with GUTA would take effect from today. Indeed, he expressed, he wasn't unhappy. He wasn't happy with the fact that he had gone ahead to declare a strike, even though he claims there was an agreement for the action to be suspended. Listen to what Michael Ochirbefi said to us yesterday on Top Story.
You could clearly see that now it is just moving away from just negotiations and trying to have a civil conversation to a state where people are just, they don't have any reason. They just want to close their shop.
Mr. Befi, what did you agree with the traders?
We as government agreed, and we decided to draw those officers who had gone for invigilation. We also decided that government was going to knock down a particular rate. We were going to use the Bank of Ghana interbank rate. I mean, with regards to the currency, I just people to get them a figure that will help them in their customs arrangement. And also with regards to the VAT, flat rate arrangement, we also had some good news for them. And we gave them all these things.
And when were you expected to roll these out?
Immediately. This week, we were so committed to take off.
When this week, sir?
Started this morning, but they started showing signs that they were not going to respect the arrangement. And so we were a little bit careful. But that notwithstanding, we are still committed to it, and it is going to take off.
So when can they look forward to that?
It will take off from tomorrow, latest by close of day tomorrow.
So that is the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Michael Ochirbefi, there speaking to us yesterday. He indicated that some of the issues, including issues of taxation and the benchmark issues with the GRA, all of those issues were going to take effect from today. We'll be speaking to him shortly to find out what has happened since that interaction. But let's speak to Benjamin Yeboah, who is the National Officer of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Mr. Yeboah, thank you very much for your time here on Top Story. What will be your assessment of day one? Satisfied with the level of compliance?
Well, thank you very much for having me this evening. Yes, I think day one was okay because the compliance level was well over 60-70%. I can even venture to about 80-90%. So it was good.
And so that should definitely tell you that there are some who are not happy or do not agree with your decision to call the strike, because there were some who sat out. And they're actually saying that the effect will be dire as compared to, what you have. The issues are legitimate, they agree, but the effect of this 6-day strike, they think that will further worsen your situation. Do you reason with them, given the effect of today?
It's like having an elections and the president-elect having more than the average. Immediately we are having about 80-90%. We see it as a success. Those others who did not comply might not maybe understand what the whole thing is, because what they think they are doing, their livelihood is just going down the drain. They might not know. So that is it. We don't see it as something that they didn't go well. It went quite well. And I think with the 2-3 minutes remaining, others will get to understand what we are doing so that they buy into it. Because whatever we are fighting for all of them.
Well, but the concern has been that, is this sustainable? So given that you go the long haul, 6 days you have declared, what next? If nothing really changes.
That is why we keep on saying that what we are doing is to send a message, not necessarily meaning that within these few days everything will change. No, we want to send a clear message out there that is not well. All this while we've been quiet since January and just issuing press releases, press statements. You see, when we even threatened to lock up about 2 months ago and the Council of State met us, we receded that action and then we decided to sit and then talk.
I guess the question is, Mr. Yeboah, can you afford the loss that will accrue to you within these 6 days?
Are you comparing that loss to what we are losing now? People's livelihood are just going down. Look, my brother, just imagine. Beginning of the year, how much was the dollar to the city? It was about 6.2. In just about 2 months, it's moved from around 10.4 to over 13. So you don't see what is happening. So anyone who sits in his business house and says he's doing business, my brother, the person is doing nothing.
Well, I
the
wanted
person
to
is just trying to manage the situation.
I wanted to listen to this economist who is the dean of the business school at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. John Gachi. Listen to him make the point about the effect of your action today.
We can't begrudge the traders if they want to go close their shops. It is a demonstration that represents the feeling of all Ghanaians that they are trying to do on behalf of Ghanaians. But we should also appeal to them that it should not take a very long time. If we're in a more civilized environment where leaders listen to the slightest indication from traders and their associations, I believe even going to the shops and putting some kind of mark on their shops will be enough message for government. So as much as we agree that they need to demonstrate their frustration, we also want to appeal that it shouldn't be too long a time.
Mr. Eboa, your reaction to this?
Yes, it's more or less singing our song. We are not doing it too long a time. We are opening on Monday. And secondly, we've gone past the red bands. We put red bands last 2 months. So all that is said, we've done that. But the way the situation is now, my brother, you should be in business to know what you're talking about. Because seriously, no one knows what he or she is doing in his business house.
Well, there's another man who is in business who joins us on the line, and he perhaps also understands the issue, but disagrees with you on your approach. Let's speak to Nana Poku, who is the General Secretary of Traders Advocacy Group Ghana. You did not partake in the demonstration today because you do not believe that that is the way to go. But at the end of the day, if the issues being demanded, the issues being raised by GUTA is responded to by government, you stand to benefit, don't you? Nana Poku. Hello, Nana Poku. Can you hear me? Hello, Nana Poku. We seem not to have his attention. If the producer can just work the line there so we can get Nana Poku to speak to. And so, Mr. Yeboah, this is definitely going all the way to Monday. Have you been approached by government, at least for today, since the strike started?
As you know, we met with the Trade Minister, the Deputy Trade Minister, Mr. Honorable Befi, the Deputy Finance Minister, Ablas. We met them last week, Thursday. And then yesterday we met Honorable Befi, who was also around, when we met with the Council of Six. So yes, something is ongoing. But we are drawing that attention to the fact that the way things are going, we should change the approach of how we are tackling it. Because we find it difficult to really understand that, yes, other countries have been hit with these COVID issues. Other countries who have been hit with the Ukraine-Russia war, which does not seem to have any ending in sight. And to be termed as having the worst currency in the world, if not among the worst, is so embarrassing. So that means there might be something really wrong. So that is why we want that much attention, so that we, all stakeholders, shouldn't be just the executive. Parliament and every stakeholder should now be called onto the table. Let us see this as a national issue and let's tackle it from all ends. What is going on that is pulling our city down drastically like that. If the depreciation was manageable, we would have said that's why we've held our horses all this while.
Let's hear
the depreciation is terribly too bad.
Mr. Ebo, can you hold on for me? Nana Poku joins us now. Hopefully we have his attention this time. Mr. Poku, thank you very much for your time here on Top Story. Why do you disagree with this approach?
We if you use that word, okay, let me first greet your listeners and thank you for having me. We don't disagree of the economic hardship. Okay? You and me will attest to the fact that the situation in the country is not conducive. And it is the failure of the appointed authority who's supposed to regulate the financial situation in the country. They have failed. In this note, I would also want to highlight the reason why we opted to open our shops. Traders, similarly like doctors, we are almost the same. We are rendering service to the public. And it is hard to come by doctors or nurses saying that we'll go on strike unless they have been pushed to the wall. Traders find themselves within the same arena. We don't want to do the service to Ghanaians, but rather we are also protesting in a different way. That will be a little bit more diplomatic, and at the end of the day, face the reality and the opportunities given us by the government, because as I speak with you, the government has not closed its doors for the trading public. The executives of Traders Advocacy Group Ghana are being engaged by the state policymakers to find a lasting solutions to all these problems that we find ourselves in. But some of them are beyond us. We could not stress too much to be finance ministers whilst we are traders. What we do best is we do trading. So we will continue doing our trading and at the same time protest in a manner that will suit our members. Hence the reason why we took such a decision.
But if you heard GUTA very clearly, I mean, there have been series of actions that has brought us here today. And so this is an action that is culminating in a long process, which is why they have chosen to close the shops now. And so why do you not think that this is the way to go, to drum home the demands?
Closing down shops. Listeners should forgive me a little bit. I am a little bit tired. Closing down shops should be the last resort. And even in this 20th century, I, for one, would say is a thing of the past. Because if you take some countries, for instance, demonstrations cannot actually pull government to the ground. It doesn't happen. But logging is the way out.
Well, let's see how it goes because we were built to speak to the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Michael Ochibefi. Unfortunately, we are unable to reach him. Once we do, would get his side of the story and find out if indeed the promises he made yesterday have been implemented. That's it for Top Story now, brought to you by Vodafone. Further together. Blazer Suga is next on the radio with News Night. After these messages, please stay with us.